Anyway, so I had a great high school choir director, and he taught us this thing, and I don't know what it's called, but I've been doing it lately in the studio, and I think it's working. I don't know, it's kind of, I tried out different things, and then sometimes studios are like, no, and I'm like, whatever, all right, I tried, I failed, well, God, failure, but I fail a lot. You gotta fail, you gotta want to fail. You have to know that you're gonna fail so many times. But it's this thing where I do where I start out like, oh, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I start off kind of undertoned, and then in the middle of the line I get a bit more meat, and then by the end of it I back off. And it's a music thing, and let me think, what did I do recently that I can give you an example? Of course I can't talk about it. Son of a. There's a piece, I can at least say this, I can at least tell you where I worked and who I worked with. I can say that because we Facebooked about it. So Emily, Neves, love Neves, Paul St. Peter, Peter St. Paul, I'm having a problem again. Emily, is it Love Neves or Neves Love? Neves Love. Love her. Neves, and Andrew's last name is Love, Neves Love, okay. She's amazing, she's a great person, and she's an amazing director, and we just worked on something. Actually, I'll be able to talk about it probably, I think they're probably going to release it, we're at the end of July, right? Sometime in August, I think Anime News Network and all the places will announce the piece that her and I did. But I really got to experiment a lot with that, with her, because, and here's another thing, I love being cast sort of against my type, because I normally am the really excited characters, and oh God, shut up, you know, and that's great. But then sometimes I love it when someone's like Eclair in Fairy Tale, where everything is down here because she's somber and depressed. I mean, her name's Eclair. I was like, oh, pastry, I love Eclairs. I was like, different kind of Eclair, she's gorgeous. I'm like, that's like really old pastry. But she's like really sad and so like really somber, and so she never, I mean, I think I shouted a few times at the very end when everyone's about to die. No spoilers, right? Fairy Tale, come on, work with me. But, you know, she pretty much stayed, you know, and then Hanji stays even lower and down here and very, you know, like that. And so this part that I'm playing, it's so hard not to say it because I just want to, but it's not a, but it's a, and what am I saying? And so it's kind of against my type in that it's different than the Excels and all of them. And so it was so fun, and I got to play with that thing that I'm talking about that I can't explain. I've really basically said nothing for 15 minutes. That's what we've come to. I've said nothing because I can't explain with words what I'm trying to say. What are you guys doing?
We're actually getting set up for the next panel.
Oh.
It's cold.
There's also really good air conditioning in here. So this is a good room for air conditioning and to set up. So I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Carry on.
I'm not trying to rush you. I'm not trying to rush you.
Oh no, these poor souls. You guys still got 12 minutes with me. I am so sorry for that.
No, it's good.
So who else? Does anyone have anyone? Yes.
Did you audition for anybody else in Attack on Titan or just on you?
Yes. Okay. Oh, I'll tell my Attack on Titan story. You guys want to hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you could have asked me that. Okay. So I'm going to backtrack a bit, and we'll get to that, and I might forget your question at some point. Just remind me. Memory of the goldfish. So watched Attack on Titan, loved it, thought it was a great series, and while I'm watching it, I swear, and I tell this story every single time, and you guys, I am not kidding you. I zoned in on Hanji. I was like, that character is so fantastic. You've got this dark, muted, toned, you know, dramatic, sad, twisted tale, right? And it's just painful, right? And then you've got people like Sasha with the potato, who's hilarious. And then you've got people like Hanji, who is, you know, who is her. And I was like, oh my God, I would love to play that role. I'm like, you know, I don't even know who has the dub. I don't even know if it's been picked up yet. I don't know anything about it, but wow. And I just sort of like, and I said to my friends, because we would watch it together, we'd get together on Saturday nights and we'd watch it. And I'm like, I would love to play that role. And so months go by, and I get an email in October, you know, would you like to audition for Attack on Titan? And I'm like, oh, no, nah, I'm not really, no, I'm not, delete. I'm not interested at all in that mess. I'm like, yeah. And they gave you really explicit directions. First, they gave you, we're almost done, you guys, so you can have a seat. I'm just babbling about Attack on Titan, so don't feel like you have to stand in the back. There's really good air conditioning in this room, so be comfortable. And just, yeah, we'll be done with the pain in about 10 minutes. Okay. No, because I really do love this story. I'm making fun of myself, but this was really wonderful. So, the email had tons of exposition, like as if you've never knew what Attack on Titan was. This is a story. This is what it's about. And the rules were, you can pick 3 people to read for, only 3. And they're like, they're very delicately putting, we're sure that you like to read for all of them, but we have to, go through a lot of auditions. So pick 3 characters that you identify with, that you think that you could be. So I sent in my audition for Sasha, for Annie, and for Hanji. And I worked on my Hanji audition for 4 hours. Like I kept just redoing it, and I wasn't happy with it, and I was cutting and splicing, and I just, wanted to make sure that I got the maniacal part of her, so that those crazy levels that were up and down were there, but then also had to make sure that I kept it down here too, to make sure that it wasn't misunderstood that I talked up here all the time, because that's not her at all. So I sent those in, and in every audition that you send in, you're just like, send it and try to let it go, because you don't know. And so weeks went by, and I hadn't heard anything, and and of course I want to write back or call and be like, hey, you guessed it, I want to know it. But you don't do that, because you can't, you shouldn't do that. And so I just waited, and so then I got a call from Mike McFarlane, the director, and it's killing me, because I see the number on my phone, and I know it's a Dallas number, and I'm like, this is a Dallas number. I'm like, oh God, I'm thinking to myself, is this Funimation? Hello? Like, hi, you're supposed to be Mike McFarlane. I'm like, oh hi, how's it going? Yeah, what's up? And he's like, yeah, and I swear, it felt like an eternity for him to tell me, because he was like, yeah, so we got your audition in. Let's see, you read for, okay, yeah, and I'm like, I'm going, oh my God. He said, okay, great. So yeah, we're at the end of casting, and we'd like to know if you, now wait, let me see, who are you again? And I'm like, oh my God, like you're killing me. And because I'm just on the phone, and I'm wanting him to say Hanji so badly, but I'm happy with him now, really, because I just really want it to be a part of the show. It's such a good show. And he's like, let's see, you're oh yeah, you're my Hanji. And I was like, yes, I am! Wigged out so hard. It was the best. I've never in my life looked at a show and been like, I want to be that character so bad. Because, by the time I see something, it's dubbed already, or it's not like with Xena Glacio, which is a show I love. There's no plans at this point for it to be dubbed, maybe in the future, but not right now. So, never have I been able to zero in on somebody and just really identify with that character and know that I can put my acting into it. And so, yeah, it was ridiculous. And it was also really cool reading for the other characters too. That's always a good thing, when you're auditioning. That's another part of it too, my friend, is the auditioning process for me helps you become a better VA, especially if you're lucky enough to get feedback from the director where they're like, that's not what I'm looking for at all. That was a great read, but that's way too much energy. Dial that down 10 notches, send it to me again, or whatever. So that helps me too, oh, I interpreted that the wrong way. And then I'm like, oh, now I see. And then, bam, I've gotten a little bit better at it because I had that, because I did it wrong. It's that failure aspect, which is really valuable. And I actually love it because I'm kind of masochistic that way. I'm strange. I have to pee again. But I'm going to hold it because we have 6 more minutes. So that was my Attack on Titan story. How's the AC going, you guys? Feeling good? Feeling cozy? Yeah? Hi. You have what? 5 minutes. Oh, I had 6. Okay. 5 is fine. Okay. 5 minutes is perfectly fine. 5, 6. Sorry. I said I couldn't math, so I stand by that. Does anyone have a question in the last 5 minutes? Yes.
How about another interesting story that you can maybe tell? Well, if you can.
I don't know. Give me a little bit more of a direct question there. story about...
I'll take anything random.
Oh, random. That is the name of this thing.
Favorite internet meme.
Huh?
Favorite internet meme.
I love douche. I love Doog. And I love that new Kermit one with the T, this ain't my, none my business. Oh my God, that's funny. Yes, question?
Alright, seen all the classics. Good anime recommendations.
Anime recommendations for classics?
I've seen all the classics.
You've seen all the classics?
Yes.
Anime recommendations for someone who likes classics, or just anime recommendations?
Just in general. A good one.
I love the series Blood Plus. I think it's a 50 episode series, I think, the TV series. Love it, love it. I don't know, do you guys like Blood Plus? Anyone seen that? It's amazing. I love it. And you had a question, yes? So, thank you. Oh, and Team 4-Star. I didn't talk about them at all. You guys, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Twitter. So, definitely shoot me a line. And I just want to say that if I ever don't respond, I am not being a jerk. I have the memory of a goldfish. I really can't remember anything. It's terrible. So I don't want you to think that I'm being rude. Just try to remind me who you are and I'll eventually get back to you. So Side 9 Happiness, I literally went up to Rob Lineker and I was like, I think you're amazing. Can I work with you? And he went, do you have a reel? And I said, no, because I have to update mine. I don't have my new one yet, or I just don't have, mine is so old. And he's like, well, we're accepting reels. So I'll put, here's our production manager's email. Email him when you have a reel. And I emailed him and I'm like, hi, I don't have a reel, but can I read for you? And so it just turned out that they, a few weeks later, were having auditions and they were calling people in and they're like, we know you don't have a reel, but we're going to give you some auditions to read. So it's like another Attack on Titan audition or just any other audition. So I sent them in and they were like, hey, and they cast me in 4 of their shorts. One of them's been released. Just one of them on their YouTube. We have 2 minutes left. The one that you can watch that I'm in right now that's on their Explosum YouTube channel is called The Weatherman. Thank you. Yes, and I'm in 3 others, and they'll be released at some point. And I always like tweet and Facebook like when something I'm in's out, so that people can laugh or not or hate it or whatever you want to do. But anyway, in Team 4-Star. They approached me about doing episode 4 of Hellsing Ultimate Bridge, Rip Van Winkle, and then that just turned into the train wreck that it did. And we have like 1 minute left, and I really want to get a picture of you guys. Even if you weren't here the whole time, I don't care. I just would like a picture. Could you guys, we only have a minute, could you get into the middle and let me snap a picture of you? Thank you so much for being here. I'm such a dork. You guys come up and talk to me anytime.